was blind, but now I can.
Yeah, calisthenics number 12. Yeah. Fly robotics. Bifocals, my only purpose is to feed the locals. I'm spreading love when I see you and gotta approach you. I see the goodness in you, I wouldn't John with you. I know you hustling for your family just to pay the fiscal. I see the God up in you, you bless your physical. While we navigating problems, the world is abysmal. Skip the one up, let's get it to the center. Your house is big as mine, we can always help each other. Affirmation smother, it ain't even cost me a dime to uplift my brother.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your man, Joe Corley. We live tonight, man. As you can see, man, I'm showing up by myself, man. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are facing us in the new year and how to overcome them and, how to push through. And, I'm hoping to get some participation from the crowd to find out, what everybody's on and how everybody's planning on moving their year. I've been really busy trying to figure out what I was going to do this year. So I didn't really have a huge topic centered around the day, but I got some stuff coming up for y'all this month. But today I was like, but I didn't want to disappoint y'all. So I'm here tonight to talk about whatever y'all want to talk about and then share some things about, what I got coming up in the new year. I am really, I know a lot of people don't believe in New Year's resolutions, and some people do. Some people look at this as an opportunity to start fresh. I'm personally somebody who needs an opportunity to start fresh. Like I've really been trying to make extreme changes in my life, and things are really, moving for me at a different rate than they've ever moved before. So I'm excited to, have a conversation with y'all, man. And let me know in the chat, man, like how do y'all feel about New Year's resolutions? I'm waiting for y'all to tap in and talk about some of these things, man. Like we trying to move forward. What are the challenges that y'all are seeing in trying to make changes in your life? What are some of the struggles? I mean, it's really an opportunity for you to, as you see, I'm usually in a chair at a desk, but today I'm coming to you live from the couch. I'm right up on the couch, so let's get to it. I'm on the couch. I'm going to put y'all on the couch and we're going to have an opportunity to talk and give you some time with an actual therapist. We don't have to get too deep, or we can get as deep as you want. But, I want to give anybody an opportunity that, wants to ask a question, or if you even want to cam up for a second and come on live. I'm inviting you to do that. All you got to do is kind of let me know what it is that you want to do. I got a couple of videos or some things that I've seen, online that was interesting to me, and I want to share those with you and then have a conversation about those. So that's a lot about what we're doing tonight, man. So I really want to talk about, first of all, some of the pressures of having to do more. What does that look like, especially for Black men? I can speak to that because I am a Black man and I talk to Black men on a regular basis. So we all have, I'm going to say we all, but there's a good number of us that feel a pressure to do more every year, level up, so to speak. And what are you doing to level up? What are some of the challenges that you're facing to level up? You're feeling beat down, you're feeling unheard. More and more, the suicide rates and the self-harm rates and all the levels and numbers of depression are going up for Black men. And those are just the ones that are reported. So I know that a lot of Black men are being silent. They're eating it, and they're just, not talking about it. So I'm here to tell you, first of all, what we got to do, if nothing else, is get on these couches, man. Get on these couches and really start processing some of the things that we've been going through in a real way. Let's talk about all the trauma that we've experienced, all the things that we have labeled as normal, but they're not really normal. They're not really normal. It's okay. I keep telling y'all over and over again, you cannot heal what you don't reveal. So I've had clients come to me and tell me some things that they've been holding on to for 30 plus years. You wouldn't believe it. Grown what y'all would consider masculine black men coming in talking about a cousin or an uncle, touched them inappropriately or actually physically, penetrated and assaulted them sexually. And they've never been able to talk to their significant other or even their mothers about it. They just kept it to themselves, and they've been holding on to that. And what is that doing? That suppression is causing anger outbursts. That's what it shows up as a lot of the time, because that's all we know. All we know is anger, physical violence, um, you know, all these other things that we're masking as masculine behavior. We're masking as masculine behavior when in actuality it's just a ton of fear, a ton of fear. So yeah, tap in with me, y'all. I really want to hear from y'all. Y'all being quiet so far. I see the numbers, trickling in. But if you're just checking in, let me know. Let me know that you're here. I want to see you in the chat. I want to hear your resolutions. I want to know what are some of the things that you have coming up for the year. Hey, Dr. Vibe, how you doing, brother? Definitely tap in with me if you're out there. I would love to hear from you today. Um, Anybody else, you know, let me know. Let me know. Let me I got one of my brothers backstage already. I'm going to bring him up and have a conversation with him about, some of the things that he's going through, uh, all the changes that are occurring in his life, positive, negative, and, any challenges that he might be facing in the coming year. Let's, Herbert Handy, like, what's going on? We talking about resolutions today, brother. You got any? I'm out here. I'm up here alone, but I'm ready to talk, man. I'm ready to anybody to come in and have a conversation with me. This is something new, so this is very uncomfortable for me, man. Being up here alone, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, um, but I wanted to try something new, man. I wanted to give y'all some space to talk to me because I'm always talking to y'all, presenting topics, and I'm gonna keep doing that. Don't get me wrong. This is not gonna be like a regular thing or a regular format, but it's I want to give y'all an opportunity to talk to me. Yeah, Dr. Vibe, I'm gonna send you the link, man. I want you to join, tap in, and get backstage, and I'm gonna pull you up when it's time, man. If you don't mind, I'm gonna send you the link in a minute. Um, so listen, I want to talk about before I bring my brother Walter up, man. I want to talk about um black men having difficulties dreaming. Okay, I've told y'all time and time again, and I'm not gonna argue with nobody about it. We are traumatized people. We are. And because of that, we struggle dreaming. We struggle seeing past the possibilities, you know? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna bring Walt up right now because I know bring him to the stage. Brother Walter, what's up, man?
Nothing much, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. I was getting ready to talk about dreaming, man, but I wanted to bring you in because I know a little bit about your situation, and then you kind of found success later in life, right?
Yes, yes.
And I want and I know some people are of the mindset that it's too late for them, you know. Um, it's too late for them, you know. And I want to be able to have a conversation with you about what it means to kind of not let go of the dream or even just realizing the dream and then pushing forward to be like, I can still do this, I can still make this happen for myself.
Yeah,
Um, you get what I'm saying?
I do. I think a lot of people don't have the faith, like you mentioned during the intro, that we have trouble dreaming. And I think, that's definitely true, a true statement, but I think it's related to generational traumas, and we don't even see it as Black people, men and women. I think for me, um, I was able to, I guess, just grasp who I am. So I make a plan and I hold on to it and shoot for it. And my life has shown that, you know, tenacity and discipline will get you there. So for me personally, I don't have a problem seeing the dream. Um, I will say though that living in this skin can make it hard to accomplish our dreams, no matter, what our determination and discipline looks like.
Yeah, I know the kind of brother you are, man. So I'm I'm hesitant to ask you this, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. I'm gonna let you
Okay.
handle how you handle it, man. Like,
All right.
do you have any resolutions for this new year, or do you?
No,
I know, yeah, I know you don't think like that, but I want to
no,
ask you anyway.
man, I don't make resolutions.
That's
I
what's up.
feel like, life is a day-to-day experience, and we need to be ready in the present time, be here now, to quote Ram Dass. So, um, of course, when the new year comes, we all think about, what it's going to look like. Um, so I don't have any resolutions, but I do have some goals that I have set. I think I set them in 24 though. Um, just about what my 25 and beyond will look like. Um,
Yeah.
so not necessarily resolutions though.
Better question for you is, what are you not coming in with this at this 25 that you don't want to have on your way out of 25?
Um,
I know you got to
I,
answer to that.
I am getting away from living up to the expectations of others. Um, I have found that a lot of my life to date has been about that, even subconsciously, has been about living up to the expectations of others. Um, and it's funny for me because I've never been a guy that really cares what people think about me. But when it comes to um, my closest people, my circle, I definitely have tailored my life to look like they might want it to look, as far as my accomplishments and, my ability to provide and to be a good friend and a good brother and a good husband. So I'm just leaving alone the idea of, living my life based on conditioning and based on what my loved ones think.
Yeah. So you've yeah, I mean you've had this pressure in the past, is what I'm hearing,
Yeah,
of living up to people's expectations.
yeah. I find that, I have been successful in life. And I just find I was just talking to my brother yesterday, and he mentioned some goals that he had for this year. And I was like, man, that's crazy because our goals probably lined up last year. But this year, I was like, I couldn't be further away from how you're thinking. Like, so it's definitely going into 25. My desire for, I don't know, financial accomplishment is not
Yeah.
what it was last year.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about that in a minute, brother. 'Cause that's a word right there. You know, when you're getting away from just trying to make the money,
Yeah.
chasing the bag, as the young folks say, man. You don't want, it's something deeper to it. You're in pursuit of something deeper. And speaking of the young bulls, man, I'm gonna bring one to the stage, man. I got my young bull backstage, man. My young brother Khalil. What's up, man? How you feeling today, brother?
Man, I'm blessed. I feel good. I
Man, you
can't complain. I can't complain. How y'all feeling?
yeah, man, you breaking a record, man. You like, for the new format, man. You like the youngest cat on the show that I had, man. So I'm happy to have you, man.
That's typically how it goes, man. That's typically how it is.
I'm
Youngest
glad I
one in the
nailed you
room.
down, though, brother. What's up with you, man? How's your new year going so far?
Man, it's good. It's good. I can't do too much complaining. I was kind of sick past 2 weeks, so I kind of got a late start to the new year this year. But all in all, man, I'm good. I can't complain. I'm ready to get it going.
Before I ask you something else, man, let me ask you: you got any resolutions for the new year? Anything you trying to pursue this year that you wasn't pursuing last year?
As far as the resolutions, I kind of resonated with my guy here at the time. I'm sorry, what's your name, boss? I didn't catch your name.
Walter. Walter.
Walter. So I kind of resonated with Walter a little bit on the resolutions this year. I couldn't come to any resolutions or anything that I necessarily just needed to get done. But I will say that there are a couple things that I'm focusing on, just as far as not waiting on other people to go out and start different endeavors. I like what Walter said earlier as far as not living up to expectations as well. I feel like I've found myself in that hole a lot last year, just being so young in the industry that I'm in, as far as the real estate industry goes. So, just not putting a cap on my limits this year. I'm trying to do everything that I said I was going to do last year. I'm just go ahead and do it.
Is that overwhelming for you?
It's very overwhelming. It's hard to figure out to where even to start at. That's where I've been in this office past week, just trying to lock in and write down different ideas, the pros and cons to different things that I could start. But it's definitely a struggle, but I'm enjoying the process, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at me doing I gotta put my therapist hat on for a second, man. I'm looking at your body language, man, and the anxiety is showing up in you as you're talking about it. So that made me ask you the question, man. Like, are you comfortable with the things that you're saying, man?
Yeah.
But I know you a driven dude, man. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm a big fan of yours for a long time, man.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna show it's a rough 24, man, for some of us, man. For rough 24 for some of us, man. What are you happy to leave behind in 24, Khalil?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Am I happy to leave behind in 2024?
Chew on that, man. Chew on that, man. Chew on that. Walter pretty much already told us, man, what he leaving behind, man. But I mean,
what are we leaving behind in 2024? I would say procrastination. That's one. Procrastination has to be left behind in 2024.
Yeah.
I think that'd be my biggest one. Just stop procrastinating. And that just kind of falls back into what I said earlier as far as not waiting on others to try to make that next move, and just going out, doing what I need to do in order to put myself in a position that I want to be in.
And listen, I know you're probably not the only one out there that struggles with procrastination. I want to talk to the brothers about that, man. What it means to build healthy habits, one on top of the other. When you build healthier habits through like micromanaging your situation. I mean, if y'all watched the show earlier, Constance is always talking about how you eat an elephant one bite at a time. It's taking one thing and changing that small habit and leading into a bigger habit. So like you take forever to, I don't know, write in your journal or whatever. So you combine that habit with whenever my feet touch the ground or before I grab my phone, I have to write in my journal. You make it a have to. I have to write in my journal before I touch my phone. And then you hold yourself accountable to those things. And then it becomes a habit. And then you have to force yourself to do it anymore. And little stuff like that is how you eliminate procrastination for anybody out there that's struggling. If you have a problem with procrastinating, man, tell me in the chat, like, what are you struggling with as far as procrastination goes? Like, what are you struggling to do? Tell me what you're struggling with, and I'll try to give you some free game on how to overcome it, one thing at a time. These are some of the things that we talk about in therapy, man. All right, man. I got some more cats backstage, man. I'm gonna bring them up, man. Let's see what we got. Dr. Vibe, what's up, brother?
Everything's up, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
I am blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem, and blackalicious.
Always got a saying for me, brother. You got something going on? You got something cooking in the new year, man?
I got lots cooking in the new year. Absolutely, because I'd rather be dead than bored.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything like leaning towards resolution or like some habits you trying to change or anything like that?
Well, one of the things that I want to let go of is anything I didn't succeed in 2024, because a lot of people beat up on themselves. And because I didn't achieve this, they sort of put themselves down. So I just say to people, say to myself, let go of the things you didn't achieve last year. It's a new time. It's a new day. And like, think forward and enjoy the journey, because too many times I know people that they're only going to get excited when they hit that end goal, but celebrate the wins along the way. So I want to celebrate myself because I just have a mindset that I don't worry about what I don't have, because what I have is good enough. Yeah. And I just got to always remind myself of that.
Yeah. Listen, I appreciate that, man. Part of my mission for the year is trying to help as many brothers as I can change bad habits and unlearn some of the things that are labeled as toxic masculinity, unlearn some of these things so that we can push ourselves forward in the coming year and be better sons, be better fathers, be better brothers, friends, husbands, all the things, right, that are limiting us because we have these bad habits in us and these wrong ideas about what masculinity is, what about being what a black man is, and pushing these things aside and trying to overcome so that, you know, we're not getting beat down by some of the things that we're struggling with today. I want to play y'all a video. Excuse me, y'all. I want to play y'all a video, man. I'm gonna get y'all reaction to it on the other side.
The alpha male, myth or mandate. The alpha male concept originated from the studies of wolf behavior. Ethologists, experts in animal behavior, studied hierarchies within wolf packs and labeled the dominant ones alphas. But unfortunately, as a result, masses of men believe that displaying animalistic behavior is the only way for a human male to lead, unaware that the alpha wolf theory has since been debunked. Yet still today, if a man demonstrates self-regulatory skills or shows support and kindness, he's labeled a beta, as if compassion and self-control or cooperation were somehow lesser traits. In my new book, The Man the Moment Demands, I share how the so-called alpha male mindset is often just a defense mechanism, emotional armor to hide personal insecurities, childhood abuse, or unresolved trauma. Even wildlife biologists have widely abandoned the term alpha because research has shown that most wolf packs are family units led by a breeding pair. So essentially, the alpha isn't a lone male wolf, but a male and female leading a family unit together. Let that sink in. Men, it's time to drop the alpha male label so that we can evolve past this outdated myth and gain a deeper understanding of who we really are. Comprehensive men.
Now listen, I know that. I know that to be as fact. I study that, I talk about it, I push it. But sometimes somebody runs up. If I'm out here hooping or something and somebody's talking crazy, my first instinct is to try to whoop ass. And I hate that comes up for me. I have to remind myself that, you know, if I don't whoop this dude's ass, it doesn't make me less of a man. You know what I mean? It doesn't drive that, you know, it doesn't drive or push my masculinity. But Walt, let me ask you, man, when you listen to that, man, what comes up for you?
That I have never considered myself an alpha male, but some people that I know have. Like, so I find that interesting. You know, I definitely have exhibited some of those quote unquote alpha male traits throughout my adulthood, but I've never looked at myself like that. What the brother said about the male and female unit being the alpha, I have always felt like that. I mean, you know, some of my philosophies as far as that goes. So I can really, what he says resonates with me. I agree with, you know, with pretty much everything he said just now.
Yeah, yeah. Khalil, man, I know you a young guy, man. So you still in there, man. It's a lot of things that, you know, we can operate as older fellas that we got to miss. But, you know, for you, especially in this generation, talk to me about, you know, what you feel when you hear that video.
Yeah. Alpha in my eyes always kind of meant leadership in a way, and so within that video, there I never felt like it had to be necessarily an alpha male and an alpha or alpha woman within a relationship. I just feel like if we're both leading, kind of like what he said, then we're alpha as one. But man, I'm just now starting to kind of get a hold of this topic. Being that I am a younger guy, it took me some things, within my relationship to kind of figure this out. When he was speaking on this, and just knowing that there's different ways to lead, and there's also right and wrong ways to lead as well. And so this is something that I'm still learning. This is something that I'm still trying to figure out as well. But everything that was said in the video, I definitely agree with, for sure.
You like 25?
Yes, sir. I'm 24. I'll be 25 in July.
Okay. Yeah, you light years ahead of me, brother. I can't tell you I can't tell you what I was trying to understand at 24, man.
Yeah.
You light years ahead of me with just even saying I'm getting into the topic of understanding what alpha male. I was still, pretending to have sex with a bunch of women at 24 when really
Right.
I wasn't having sex with none of them. I was having like, yeah, man, I'm out in the streets, down left and right. But that's what
Right.
you had to do, man. That's what you had to do to fit in, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying it loud now, laughing at it, man. But man, I feel like at the time, thinking back on it, like an idiot. You know what I mean? All the things that I was trying to keep up with that didn't really define me. What about you, Dr. Vibe? What do you think about when you see that alpha male video, man?
So many thoughts. One of the thoughts is letting go. He was talking about many men have this thought of being an alpha male, and we need to let go of that. And I can relate to that because when I was younger, Khalil's age, and when I had hair, I thought the way to be as a black man was to be an alpha.
Yeah.
And in my journey, I realized that getting the career, being number one, and all that wasn't all that. Relationships, family, friends have taken me further in my second half of my life than the first part of my life.
Yeah.
And I also say that even strong men suffer. Even strong people suffer. So we may think we know some tough men out there, but what's going on underneath their cover? As you know, Joe, you assist a lot of men that are suffering in silence who we would think are strong.
For sure. For sure. And to say more about that, when you think about that alpha, I can't, there's no such thing as regrets, right? They say that. You shouldn't say should because you can't go back in time and change none of it. But I look at that as a matter of a fact that I lost so much time and good years trying to prove my masculinity with this alpha male mentality, man. So many damaged relationships that were actually good for me. Like I let good people, and now I understand the value of good people. You know what I mean? I didn't understand it back in my 20s because you think that you're gonna just run into a copious amount of good people in your lifetime, but it's not the case, brother. It's not the case. Like when you get somebody good in your situation, you gotta nurture that relationship. You gotta take care of it because you don't know when it's gonna come back around like that. And that's and you brothers disagree with me. Let me know. But I mean, you let me know. Talk to me about what you've understood about just good relationships, Walter, and in your time now as you look back and probably appreciate good relationships more.
Hey man, I think this is a topic where I don't know, just hearing you ask me that question, I felt a cynicism that I don't have in life. Just looking back over, like good people are few and far between, like
Okay.
in life, period. And so appreciating when you have a good friend or a good person in your life is paramount to pretty much anything else because we came here to help each other.
That's
We
right.
came here to support one another. So it's important that we find people that we can support and who can reciprocate that type of love.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to also, when we talking about things you understood and moving forward, as a young person, because I'm getting inspired by this young brother sitting in front of me, man. Um, let's talk about a little bit about financial literacy, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk a little bit about financial literacy, man. I know that you moving in a healthy way, Khalil, and I respect it. Um, but before I get to you, I want to go back to Dr. Vibe and ask him, like, what are some of the things that that you are understanding now that you didn't understand before, as far as like financial literacy and your ability to be profitable?
Well, a great question. I think profitable financially starts with being profitable mentally.
Yeah.
And if you're not having the right mindset with money when you don't have it, don't necessarily going to be improved when you do have it.
Right.
Mhm.
So for
Oh, wow.
me,
Wow. Said a
Man,
word.
here, Dr. Bob, you
You
hit it
said a
on the head.
word, brother. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
yeah, so for me, I learned along the way, right? I like many of us probably here and people watching live on replay, I made my financial mistakes, but it really started to hit. I'll give you a real quick story. My father's still alive, but about 10 years ago, he called me over, and I'll shorten the story. And he gave me a piece of paper and he said, open it up. I open it up. It's his will. He says, everything's paid for.
Oh, wow.
And then he said to me, I don't owe nobody nothing.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It's powerful. Yeah.
So let alone a black man telling me that, my blood
Yeah.
is telling me that. So that started to accelerate to get my financial house in order and get my ego out of the way to reach out to a brother to help me navigate some of that, because too many of our brothers are dying with a bill, not a will.
Yeah.
Mm.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Let me tell
Right?
you something. Go ahead. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I've seen that too many times. And sometimes I will ask a black man, do you got life insurance?
Yeah.
Especially if they're black men with children.
Yeah.
And I say, what sort of legacy are you leaving them?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll just stop there. I could go further, but I hope what I'm sharing is somewhat positive.
No, man, for sure. I mean, listen, I got married in my late 20s, 27. And prior to that, I did not know or understand anything about life insurance. I had no intentions of getting life insurance. I probably wouldn't have never gotten life insurance uh, if somebody hadn't approached me with that and started talking to me about, like, somebody had to come to me, and what he was trying to do was trying to get me to sell it, but I was like, well, let me talk to me, man. I might be willing to be a customer. I'm not a salesman, but talk to me about, the benefits of this. You know what I mean? Uh, and then understanding that it went to a different place, man. But I didn't have that. I mean, my father died when I was 16 years old. He did not leave me with that information. My mother died when I was 15 years old. She did not leave me with that information or any life insurance.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and my mother died wrongfully at a hospital, so we got a little bit of settlement from that. And I'm gonna just be honest, I got about 80 racks when I was 19 years old. I didn't buy a property. I didn't take a vacation.
Wow.
I didn't, I didn't do nothing productive with this money, man. I just blew through. I was 19 years old. I was like a freshman in college or a sophomore in college. I had no idea why. I dropped out of school, opened up a chicken shack. I did that. I guess that was somewhat productive, but I opened it up with my stepfather, who was a scam artist, scammed me out of the money, and I blew through that 80 racks in probably less than a year, man. It didn't have nothing to show for it. As a matter of fact, I came out of that situation with debt, you know. So that just goes to show you, man, what understanding finances can do for you, man. I just blew the funds.
Wow.
Embarrassing myself. I had 3 cars. I was embarrassing myself. I had 3 cars. I had a safe in my bedroom. Like, brother, what are you doing, man? I had a new computer It was embarrassing, bro. But Khalil, man, let me ask you, man, what are you thinking about when you at this age when you talk about financial literacy, man? What do you know? What do you understand? What questions do you have, man? What's
Um,
you might know more than us, man. What solutions do you have?
Man, I've actually been blessed to be around a lot of male figures in my life who are very financially successful.
Right.
My stepfather, who introduced me to real estate, he's been successful all his life. That's all I've seen. When I was 6, I was getting talked to about credit, and how to use the white man's money versus using the money that's in my pocket. So that's something that I take very seriously. And like Dr. Bob said, I believe it all starts up top. You got to be wealthy up top first before you can be wealthy in the physical aspect. Um, and so my advice to anybody is to, if you want some financial literacy, go find somebody who's successful and who's doing what you want to do, and you get around them and you ask them how to get to where they at. And I feel like that's been my best route, just getting around certain mentors and certain guys who have a great understanding of financial literacy. And so
How many
I've
of your
been
partners understand that? How many of your partners understand that right now?
very few. All my guys come to me when they talk anything about finances. I'm the one who kind of introduces the credit and the real estate and the property management to my guys, and they kind of look at me with a blank face when I talk about it. But um, I know I got a little bit more work that I need to do that's gonna kind of give them that boost to believe in what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like people, especially with my generation, they got to see it first before they believe it. And so once you can put the results on the table, I feel like it's up from there.
Man. You got to be what you're trying to see, man. You got to, you can only lead them so far,
Absolutely.
but just your influence, that little ripple you put in the water, man, you don't have no idea what the kind of impact or effect it can. But listen, everybody out there in the chat, man, talk to me, man. What do you knowing and understanding about financial literacy now that that you want to push forward? I don't want to necessarily encourage you to have regret, but just some things that you've maybe learned along the way that are in your DNA or your makeup now that you didn't have before. Um, you know, just talk
Can,
to me a little bit about it.
so, Joe, can I just step in for a minute and just
Yeah,
step back? And Khalil was talking about procrastination.
yeah,
Just a suggestion. This is what my major mentor taught me a few years ago. And this is for everybody here, I just make suggestions. I don't tell people what to do. I just put suggestions out there. When you're going through procrastination, number one, almost everyone does. So don't beat up on yourself.
100%.
Number two, when people are going through procrastination, they're saying, what happens if I don't do it? Flip it and think, what happens if I do it?
Talk to him.
And then the third thing is, who wins when you do it? You're gonna win, and at least one other person's gonna win.
Yeah.
And then finally celebrate it because you got something off your plate. Just a suggestion.
You got to know that's 100%. You got to celebrate the wins, man. Are you going to just get engulfed in the failures? So every single time you have a win, you have to celebrate. You have to make that a habit. I'm talking to the chat right now. You know what I mean? I'm talking to the chat. Walter, man, I know you as an extremely talented brother. At any point in your life, you probably could have been wealthy. You know, um, talk to me about what you're feeling and what you're thinking behind this. As we talk about finances right now.
What Khalil said about growing up and being educated from a very young age about credit, I think is something that is missing from our culture. First of all, we have a school system here in this country that does not educate its people in the ways that they should be educated.
At all.
Just to put it, bluntly, I did not start paying any attention to my credit until I was 40 years old.
Yeah.
Like, and before that, I abused it because I didn't understand it, and because I think about the line in the Good Times intro, easy credit ripoffs. Like this is the mentality that our people have that is ingrained into us, right?
Yeah, man,
We
straight
think
up.
we're getting away with something by by operating in that mindset. And so I had to learn that, as Khalil also said, credit is a tool to be used to our advantage. Robert Kiyosaki says, use debt to become wealthy. Like, don't debt is not a bad thing if you're utilizing it with a strategy. So I think that's the thing that really I think about as far as our people, our culture, and what is missing. Like, we could make leaps and bounds of progress if more families educated their children on financial literacy from a young age.
So let me ask you follow up, man. What prevents somebody who has talent or many talents from pursuing these things and overcoming and pushing yourself to a space where you could be comfortable?
Ignorance and trauma.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, man, because that's exactly the answer I wanted from you, man. To understand, guys, the stuff I'm talking again to the chat, man, the stuff that you're having a difficulty overcoming, even something like procrastination, like you say, Khalil, like even that is a result of ignorance or trauma. I'm gonna say or, not both, because you might be ignorant, but you can be traumatized and unknowing that the trauma is preventing you from pushing past what you need to push past in order to succeed. Some of those things or some of those steps that Dr. Vibe was giving y'all to push past some of those things, you might need to process. And listen, I know a lot of brothers personally as a therapist that tell me, hey, I'm coming to see you. And then I never see them. You know what I'm saying? And then I never see them. I'm like, bro, you said I didn't ask to come see you. Now you said, hey, I'm coming to see you. Okay, brother, when you coming? Someday.
Hey, as Dr. Boyce says, don't make it someday, make it today.
Yeah, brother, you gotta come, man, because you gotta even if it's just one session, man, you gotta come and get at least an understanding of some of the things, just try to unlearn and untangle some of this mess to get it off your back, brother. And I'm gonna say it over and over again. Black men, we are traumatized people. I don't give a damn. I don't want to hear that, man. I'm not taking the victim mentality. I'm not taking the victim mentality either. I'm just stating the facts. We are traumatized people, man. These things happened and they're happening in our country. And sometimes you need a little extra to help get them off you. And it's not even sometimes not even about race. It's about our own circumstances and our own culture and our own people, pushing us and holding us down. You know what I mean? I'm gonna play another video, man, because I want to talk about how we showing up in relationships in a minute. Because this episode going faster than anyone I've ever had, man. I thought this was gonna take forever.
Why does my husband shut down every time I try to address issues with him? I wish he wasn't so immature. What your husband is doing is something called stonewalling, which doesn't really speak to quote unquote his level of maturity, but rather his inability to cope with marital conflict, which a lot of men struggle with. When you address an issue with your husband, you might be coming from a place of criticism, meaning that you're using words such as always or you never. You're attacking your partner's character versus their behavior. So your husband starts to feel flooded and he shuts down as a way to protect himself against the perceived attack or to try to preserve your relationship because he doesn't want the conflict to escalate. But while he's trying to preserve your relationship, he's missing out on that connection that you're deeply searching for in that moment. All you want to feel is heard and seen, but you feel rejected by him shutting down. And you probably get louder trying to pull back his attention, but it just causes him to withdraw even more.
Man, let me give y'all some of the freest game that you're gonna get. Okay. When we talking about stonewalling, that's just 1/4 of what we call the 4 horsemen of communication. When you see the 4 horsemen coming, that's bringing death. So if you have stonewalling involved in your relationship, then that's an indicator that your stuff might be ending or you're holding on to something that's not working for you. I often tell couples in relationships, when you are giving somebody the silent treatment, that is a form of abuse. That throws people off every time. That throws people off every time. But that is mental abuse. I'm not making that up. That's not my opinion. Okay. That's what it is. You're in a relationship, not talking to your partner is mental abuse. Two things can also be true, though. You don't feel safe having conversations with your partner, right? So you're feeling unheard and uncared for. At the same time, your partner, who knows what they're feeling when you're stonewalling them or not talking to them, but that's not healthy. Whatever the reason is you're not talking to your partner, the fact is that is not healthy. But don't let me be taking up all the time, man. Walter, I want to ask you, man, when you see that clip, brother, what comes to mind for you?
That I have dealt with that a lot from the flip side.
Yeah.
I'm a communicative person. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say what it is.
Yes.
Everybody is not that way, and I hope none of the female watchers get offended by what I'm about to say. But I have found in my life that a lot of times women tend to shut down in this way more than we do, and just that's a I don't know if it's a defense mechanism or if it's a weapon, because it can be utilized in both ways, but I find that happens a lot, even not just in romantic relationships. I can, my mother, my aunts, like they, they get upset and that's their go-to. Like they will ignore you and give you the silent treatment. So,
yeah, it's a trauma signal, when you shut down like that. And some people do use it as a weapon, and some people use it as a defense mechanism. So it can be both, and women do it too. I want to make sure that I see pretty much down the line split evenly between men and women. And all the couples that I see, one person is overly communicative and one person is communicative and one person is the shut down person. It might be the man, might be the woman, who knows. But Khalil, man, you growing in you're in a relationship, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. What comes to mind for you when you observe that clip, man?
A lot. I'm a victim of it. I shut down. Me and my girl get into it. That's actually one of the reasons I had to reach out to coach here myself, because I honestly didn't know how to express myself. I didn't know how I could express myself in a way that my partner could understand. And even on the flip side with her as well, there was times where she feels like she doesn't know how to express herself to me. And I feel like it all boils down to, like you said, trauma, just things that we've seen growing up, things that we've been around, how our parents interact with each other, how, different experiences that we went through. And so this is something that I'm still, again, another part that I'm trying to learn, as far as just being vulnerable. And this is what I call the alpha. When people say alpha male, I would say me being vulnerable, showing my woman that I can communicate to her effectively. That's me being an alpha man. I feel like that's how I take that term. And so it's something that I'm still working with, something that I'm still trying to learn. But yeah.
Yeah, brother. I mean, you're not alone in that, man. A lot of black men struggle with taking that step. I personally struggled for many. I was probably in my 30s before I started realizing that I was lying to my wife about dumb stuff. Like if I moved a glass in the cabinet, she'd be like, "Who moved this glass?" I'm like, "She must have been one of the kids." I'll be lying about dumb stuff, bro, because I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really understand why. I didn't understand at the time why I was doing that, but it's because I didn't feel safe at all. Just talking about little stuff like that. I felt very insecure to be like, I made a mistake, to admit to her that I made a mistake of some kind. I didn't, I didn't put the pot back where it was supposed to go. I couldn't tell her like I made a mistake, because if I told her I made a mistake, then somehow that's me admitting that I'm not a man. Little stuff like that, and it's a lot of brothers that experience that, man. They can't just go out and say honestly what's going on, like, hey, I'm
Coach, I think a lot of that too. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead, bro.
I think a lot of that too comes from, especially with my generation and just things that I've experienced. I mean, people like to throw that stuff back at you in heated times, in heated moments.
Yes.
When things aren't going right. People tend to kind of reflect back to that vulnerability state of the other person and try to throw it back in their face, and it makes that other person really not want to open up at all to anyone, and so that's something that I definitely am trying to get over and get past as well.
No, you hit it right in the head, man. And if I was thinking, I would have said that's part of the reason why I was doing what I was doing as well, because I didn't want it thrown back in my face. Right. And that's something that my wife had to learn. Like, she had to learn how to communicate with me. I had to learn to communicate. It wasn't just a one-way situation, but I am responsible for what's on my side of the street. I can't be like, oh, she's not changing, so I'm not going to change. No, I'm still trying to push through my communication, still trying to say what I got to say, at risk of her throwing it back in my face, which is a high possibility. You know what I mean? So, man, that's a good point that you brought up, brother. Dr. Vibe, what comes up for you, man?
Wow, there's so many knowledge bombs being dropped. I don't know what I can add on, but what I will say, if you're in a relationship with a partner, wife, or whatever, make sure it's built on a friendship before you have the relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to have that friendship. And I've invested in myself, and I've read a lot, and I've spoken with people, especially people who are ahead of me in this game called relationships, to get their insights. I think also, too, a big thing in regards to this is admit when you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's a challenging thing for men in general. I think it's even a bigger challenge for many Black men. And when you're admitting you're wrong, you're admitting it to yourself first.
Yeah.
You got to accept that, like, a mistake is a moment. It's not a person. Right. And admit and be ready to and just develop those conversations, those relationship things. I think also too, if you have other good Black men in your circle, I have a few of them. We have vault conversations.
Yeah.
So everything that's said, it's like a bank. When you go in a bank, they have that vault. The money inside there is locked.
Yeah. No, it's locked. Yeah.
It's locked, and it stays with us, those vault conversations.
Yeah.
And if you can have them with your partner, even better.
Right.
Man, God. Yeah. I mean, that's important for sure, to understand that the value of a friendship that you could have with your partner.
Yes.
That, to me, and that's just missing me, a personal opinion, like, that is the most valuable part, of my marriage has been sustained for, 17 years because we are friends. And at the end of the day, I know that if anything were to happen to us and we were having to split, I feel like we will remain friends, because we've built a friendship that is, the groundwork of it is just our friendship, man. At the end of the day, we have difficult days, that's for sure. But at the end of the, when something's going wrong, I want to talk to my friend before I want to talk to almost anybody.
Absolutely.
100%. Hey, Coach, I got a question for you. What do you think is the best strategy or the best way for a person to be able to open up? Like, what is it that you think is stopping us from opening up?
The main thing is perspective, right? So let's just say y'all have you and your girl had an argument, right? Over something like, cleaning up the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Y'all start talking about cleaning up the kitchen, and 5 or 6 minutes later, y'all like screaming at each other at high levels. All right.
A diaper, just a diaper.
Just a diaper, you know what I mean? But in actuality, you come into my space, I'm gonna be like, y'all didn't argue over that diaper. Y'all didn't argue over that kitchen. It was something else. It was an underlying issue based on emotional triggers that go back before y'all was probably even together. So understanding what those emotional triggers are, and like, okay, when you leave a dirty diaper here, it reminds me of this. So I just go way off. So you'll be less inclined to do that, knowing that it's your girl's trigger. She'll be less inclined, like, what made you all of a sudden go up and start yelling? She'll be less inclined, and maybe it's the way she spoke to you. She'll be less inclined to speak to you that way, knowing that is a trigger for you and it escalates things for you. So once y'all have that conversation, you'll be more willing to, just one conversation about emotional triggers, y'all will be more willing to share what those triggers are and try to have a conversation. I always explain it like this: so y'all on the same team. So why would you try to shoot at different baskets? That doesn't make any sense. Y'all are on the same team. Y'all want the same thing. So if y'all are arguing, it's a waste of time. Y'all basically playing defense on each other. Now y'all might have different play to get to the bucket or get to the end zone. Y'all might have different plays and disagreements about how to do that, but y'all both want to score. You know what I mean? That's, you know, and it doesn't matter who's scoring. You know, we want to win together. So ultimately, any arguments that you're having are ridiculous.
Picking it up like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more to it, man. There's a whole lot more to it, man. There's like things you have to eliminate. I'm gonna give some more free game out to the chat, man. The things you have to eliminate for your conversation to have a healthy relationship. Criticism, one, okay? Instead of saying, you know, this kitchen is always dirty, you dirty bastard. I'm tired of you. Da 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 da. Look, I get really flustered when the kitchen is dirty. Could you please help me clean it? That's it. What you really wanted was the kitchen clean. So all this criticism and all that talking shit that you was doing, calling him a dirty bastard and a slob, was unnecessary when all you wanted was the kitchen clean. Just tell him how you feel, and you know, attach a feeling to it. I'm flustered. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I'm unhurt. All the things. Okay, baby, I understand that. So criticism, contempt. That's get that out your communication. That's that's sarcasm. You know what I mean? That's all the down talking and you know all of the back talking that you do. You know, just again, go to say what you feel. No criticism, no contempt. Just say what you feel. Period.
If I could add something, Joe.
Yeah.
And the Me Too syndrome. It's not time for that. If we're having a discussion and I'm trying to express, or let's say my wife is trying to express something that I've done that, you know, stepped on her toes. It's not time for me to say, well, you do that too. Or you know what, I hear you, but you know, it's not time for that. So listening, being still in those moments is also another important way to come to a resolution.
100%. 100%. That back and forth is not helpful.
Yeah.
Not helpful. You have to understand where your partner is coming from. And the Me Too comes from what the third horseman I was going to bring up is defensiveness. Okay. You got to get the defensiveness out of your conversation, you know, whereas you're somebody who doesn't like to be yelled at. You can't be like, oh, you know, well, you know, it ain't my fault that you did this, that, and the other. No. I just don't like to be yelled at. Whatever the reason you yelling at me for, I don't want to be yelled at, because once you start yelling at me, I'm checking out. So every single time a person is coming to you to try to express how they're feeling and you start defending yourself, you are making a mistake. Your job is to validate those feelings and ask what that person needs. You know, that's it. That's it. And the last one is what that brother talked about in that clip, stonewalling. When stonewalling goes two ways, you either shutting down or you're the person like following your partner around the apartment trying to get them to talk when they're not ready to talk. You need space. Y'all need space. Okay. So take your space, but you have to come back to the table. It's not unlimited space. What do I need? I need an hour. Give me an hour so that I can process everything, and then we're gonna have a conversation. Because if you don't give me this hour, this conversation is gonna go terrible. I need an hour, but you gotta come back. You got to come back. Okay. So criticism, contempt, defensiveness, stonewalling. Those are the 4 horsemen of communication. When those things show up, your relationship is in trouble, and you definitely need to tap in with a counselor. I'm gonna show one more video, man, and then we're gonna close out, man. I really appreciate y'all brothers showing up tonight, man. I had no plan whatsoever, and y'all brought the show good quality, man. So I appreciate you.
What do you think I need to hear most from you, and why?
I think you need to hear that you are worthy, that you are loving, that you are deserving, that you are human, that you are trying, that you are a man, whatever that may be for you, that you are healing, you are growing, you are not your past, you are not your parents, you are not what society puts on you, you are not a stereotype, you can love. Your journey is purposeful. I think you need to hear those things because even though we're not together, I know I assume your spaces are not as safe as what we were allowed to create in our relationship. So I think you needed those words of affirmation. You needed a reminder.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. I played that for a purpose. I want brothers to know that it's okay to ask your woman for what you need and say that whatever she's doing or not saying is hurtful and bothersome, and not have to worry about like being called a beta or soft or any of them things. I know personally I need affirmations. It's tough out here, and sometimes I need somebody to tell me that, you know, I'm doing good. That's just what I don't know what that you know, what opinion that makes someone have of you or whatever, but I need that. So I'm gonna openly tell my wife, hey, I can't just have criticism all the time telling me what I'm not doing. I need a bigger, hey, good, you're a good father. Thank you for that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to give y'all brothers an opportunity to talk about your feelings around affirmations, you know, whatever those may be. So I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Bob.
Yeah. For me, I just tell people I'm not a Superman, but I'm a Clark Kent getting a little bit better each day. Right? I make mistakes. I do my best to admit them. I spend my time to say I'm sorry, and I mean it truthfully. Not just, oh, I'm sorry. I want to look that person in the eye and say I'm sorry. So it's really important. And I love that clip there because I'd like to know how many brothers who are watching this have had that moment in any sort of relationship, whether it's with a lady, mother, father, sister, brother. Though that wasn't a long clip, but look how much it meant to that brother.
Yeah.
It's not how much time you have, it's what you do with the time that you have.
Yeah.
So tell the people that are close to you, whether it's partner, whether this is what I need from you. And I will do my best also to provide what you need. We need to have those one-on-one times where we just say, I need this.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that. I think it was a great clip.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Walt, what you got, man? How you feel about that clip?
I think that we all need those affirmations, but I'm going to say that I affirm myself daily. Of course, I appreciate, you know, hearing it from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Every single day I start my day with affirmational music. I love music, and so when I rise, you know, it's 2 brothers named Chris and T, and their music is just about uplifting themselves, which, you know, listening to it and singing along with it uplifts the person listening. So I start my day daily with some type of media that is uplifting, and I talk to myself in the mirror. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss. Tell yourself you love yourself. Tell yourself out loud. Don't say it inside of yourself. Get in the mirror and look yourself in the eyes and know that you accept you. I think it's very important.
I just want to chime in here for a suggestion for brothers. Have a motivational playlist.
Definitely.
Just building on what says, like Walter just said. I have songs that if I'm on the down,
they bring you up.
Yeah, like one of those songs is "Optimistic" by can't remember who's Sounds of Blackness.
Sounds of Blackness, brother. Minnesota's finest. That's my
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So I have my motivational playlist that when I'm going through a dip, it brings me up. But if I'm high, I also have that too.
Oh man, I mean, Walter, you got a question out there, man. So I'm gonna post it before I move on to Khalil, but I'm gonna say too, man. Yeah, I got my lift me up playlist as well, man. Somebody said I listen to Paul Wall. That's hilarious.
Just Tornado, one of my family. She's here. Good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, listen. What do you say, Walter?
What do you say to a man trying to get to a place to self-affirm? Again, talk to yourself in the mirror. If being affirmed by people that you love is important to you, tell them that, so that they can add it to their daily to-do list. But most importantly, I can't stress enough: affirm yourself. Affirm yourself.
Yes. And I'm gonna add to that, Just Tornado, because some people might have difficulty getting in the mirror and talking to themselves because they struggle with the truth. And oftentimes you're going to have to be pushed on the truth. If you're not able to do that for yourself, I'm going to tell you to go to a therapist that's going to hold you accountable to the truth about yourself. So you might have a tendency to put yourself down over something that is just not true. You know? So like I'm going to listen to everything that you're saying and be like, well, such and such is telling you that you've done this for them and you've been there for them and you're this for them and that for them, and you're sitting there telling you like, no, nobody appreciates me. That's not what you told me. You're lying to yourself because it feels safer to put yourself down than to tell yourself the truth that, you know, you actually are talented, you know, you are loved, you are cared for, you are appreciated, you know. So if you struggle with talking to yourself in the mirror, then go see somebody straight up. All right, Khalil, I'm gonna let you close this out, man. What you got?
Man, I wanna start off first by saying I appreciate all three of you brothers for the amount of wisdom and how much y'all done just helped me out within this conversation. This is a very powerful conversation that we just had. So I appreciate y'all. But affirmations, you know, that I think it's something that, at least for me, is something that I kind of assume. I kind of assume this person knows I love them. I assume this person knows that I think they're doing good or they're doing the right thing. And so I sometimes catch myself and I have to tell myself, like, it's okay to tell them that, you know, it's okay to let them know that, you know, that they're doing good. They're a good father. They're a good mother. Because I do realize how much it affects me when I hear it. I don't always think that I don't wake up every day, and I probably should start doing the daily affirmations like Walter said, but I don't wake up every day and do daily affirmations for myself, you know. But when I do get those comments on social media, or I get that text from one of my close homeboys and they're telling me that, hey man, I see what you're doing, I'm proud of you, it gives me a sense of motivation. It makes me want to keep going. It makes me want to be better. So I definitely think they're powerful, and it's definitely going to be something that I try to incorporate in my day-to-day routine as well.
No, that was a gem, Walter. That was a gem you dropped, man. A lot of brothers don't know that. I personally, as much as I do give myself, I've never thought about like listening to a music in the morning that affirms me, man. That's something new on me. I'm gonna try that myself, honestly.
I'm about to go look at myself in the mirror right after this conversation. Right after this conversation.
I will validate. This is one of the most confident brothers I've ever met in my life. You know, I love his energy, man. That's why I'm always gonna have him around me as often as I can. So thank you, brother Walter, for that, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna close that out, man. I really appreciate you, brothers. Like I said, man. Well, Khalil, man, what's that? Is that check on your strong friend store? Is that somebody else's clothing line, or is that you?
Yeah, me and my boy Cedric out here. He got a
Talk about it, man. Because you got a couple hundred people right now watching, man. If you want to talk about your clothing line, man, go ahead.
yeah,
Bro.
man. If y'all go check it out. It's called Check on Your Strong Friends Mental Awareness. Just kind of reaching out to those who maybe you may think they're strong, you may think they're not going through many things, but man, at the end of the day, you never know what somebody's going through. They could be the strongest person out there. You know, they could seem like the most confident person out there, but deep down inside, man, it doesn't take nothing but a conversation, a quick phone call, quick text. That's actually something that I've incorporated in my day-to-day now, is that I just try to send out 5 texts every morning. I don't care if I haven't talked to you in 10 years or if I talked to you yesterday. Hey, man, congratulations. Hey, man, I'm proud of you. Hey, man, if you need anything, reach out to me. I'm here. And so that's just kind of the narrative that we're pushing with the Check on Your Strong Friends. So you go to my Instagram. It's all on there. Check it out. Y'all need any help trying to figure out how to get some, you can always hit me up.
Bet, man. I'm gonna go get myself some immediately, my brother.
You know I got you, coach. Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool, man. I need that hoodie, man. I seen that hoodie, man. I said I need that. So I had to make sure I asked you about it, man. Sure. What before I go, what inspired you to do that, man?
Man, my boy Keith Miller III, man. It was just kind of crazy how it all lined up, because I didn't bring this idea to the table. My boy Shedrick brought this idea to me. It just happened to be a couple months after my close friend passed away, and so that's why I'm pushing this narrative so hard. That's why I'm pushing this brand so hard, because I know it's other people like my brother who were probably in the same situation, feel like they ain't got nobody to kind of talk to, or maybe we feel like they're strong, that they don't need nobody to talk to. Deep down inside, like I said, you never know what that person is really going through until you hear it from them themselves, you know, and even then you still don't know, but at least you can say that you tried.
Yeah, I figured that, man. I just wanted to ask you that, man. I appreciate that, brother. You know what Keith meant to me as well. So
absolutely,
you know, we can have a conversation about that another time, man, but
always.
I appreciate that you bringing that to light, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Listen, I want to tell y'all good night. And I really appreciate y'all joining me tonight for this conversation. I felt like it was really powerful. Like I said, I walked into it with no plan, and I just threw the link out for a couple brothers, and you know, a couple brothers responded, and we got I think what is a powerful show tonight. And these conversations need to occur more often, and we're having them every Tuesday. Whether it be about whatever topic, you know, we just making sure that we pouring into brothers, because it's our responsibility. You know, it's our responsibility to pour into each other, because no one knows what we're going through like we do. You know, and that's just a fact of it. That's just a fact of it. So hey, y'all have a good night. Check on your strong friends.
Yes, sir. Check on your strong friends, fellas. Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you, coach.
You got it, brother. You got it.
You guys have a good night.
Blessings to y'all, man.
Thank you.